Have you ever sat at a table full of people who claimed they loved you and felt like you were the only one not invited to your own life? Have you ever tasted betrayal in the middle of a family celebration? My name is Anna Morgan, and the night it happened, I swear it rewrote everything I thought I knew about blood, love, and loyalty. And before I begin, please make sure you subscribe, because what I am about to tell you will change the way you look at family forever. It was Thanksgiving, the one holiday that used to mean something. The smell of turkey, cinnamon, roasted nuts, all the fake warmth my mother liked to decorate the house with. I walked in carrying a pie I baked myself, hoping, stupidly, maybe, that this year things would be different. That my family would see me, hear me, maybe even be proud of me. Mom opened the door with her usual polished smile, the kind she reserved for neighbors and strangers, never for me. "Oh, Anna, you made it," she said like she had been convinced I would cancel. Dad nodded but did not hug me. My younger sister, Lily, came out of the kitchen in a sparkling dress like she was the star of a TV show. She squealed loud enough to make it seem like she was happy I was there, but her eyes said something else. Dinner felt like sitting in a movie where I did not belong. Every conversation was about Lily's wedding, Lily's honeymoon, Lily's future children, and my parents' faces lit up like a Christmas tree every time her name was spoken. I tried to contribute. I tried to smile. I tried to ignore the fact that they had not asked me a single question about my job, my apartment, my life. I tried not to think about how they had not attended my graduation 2 years before, but somehow found the time, the money, and the energy to pay for Lily's entire wedding. But then the moment came. That moment where the air shifts, and you feel your stomach drop before the words even come out. Mom folded her napkin, looked right at me and said, "So, Lily's wedding was amazing, right? Such a beautiful ceremony." She paused, and then she smiled that sweet, poisonous smile and asked, "Now tell us, Anna, when is your wedding? You are not getting any younger." Everyone laughed. Everyone except me. I put down my fork slowly, and then I said the sentence I had practiced only in my mind, the one that came out so soft it felt like a blade sliding under skin. I already had my wedding. The entire room went silent. Mom blinked. Dad frowned. Lily stopped mid-giggle. "What are you talking about?" Mom asked, confused, almost offended. I took a breath. My voice was steady. Too steady. I was married. 2 years ago. My mother's lips parted, but no sound came out. My father muttered, "This better not be one of your jokes." Lily rolled her eyes like I was ruining her moment again. "It is not a joke," I said. "I was married, and none of you came. Because none of you knew. Because none of you cared enough to ask." The silence that followed was the kind that makes your skin crawl. My mother recovered first, leaning back in her chair like she was trying to distance herself from something dirty. "Why would you hide something like that from your own family?" she asked. That was when I felt it. That strange calm before a storm breaks. "I did not hide it," I replied. "You all were just too busy pretending I did not exist." Dad scoffed. "Do not be dramatic." Lily added, "Maybe he left you. That is why you kept it secret." And that was when my smile began. Slow, controlled, the kind you learn only after years of swallowing pain. "No," I said. "I left him." "Why?" Mom demanded. I looked her straight in the eye. "Because he cheated." Lily covered her mouth like she was watching a soap opera. My father muttered something under his breath. My mother shook her head like she could not believe someone would cheat on her favorite mistake. Me. "Why did he cheat?" Mom asked, voice sharp, judgmental, cruel in that polished suburban way. "Men only cheat when a woman fails them somewhere." I inhaled slowly, and I felt something inside me snap in the softest, quietest way. "That is interesting," I said. "Because that is exactly what he said." He said I was too boring, too responsible, too focused on work. He said I was predictable. Mom nodded. "Well, and," I cut her off, "when I collapsed at work from exhaustion, and the hospital tried calling you two, guess what? Neither of you picked up." The table melted into a sick silence again. I continued. "You were at Lily's cake tasting appointment. You did not even call back." Lily lifted her eyebrows. "Well, that was an important day." I felt the sting in my chest. But I smiled again. That same smile that scared even me. "That was the day I decided I was done with all of you," I said. "Not just him. You too." My mother's face tightened. "You are being unreasonable." No, I said softly. I am being honest. My father shook his head and grumbled. Marriage is not something you throw away over one mistake. I leaned back. It was not one mistake. It was months. He cheated with a woman he met at the gym, and when I confronted him, he blamed me for working too hard to pay our bills, because he never kept a job for more than 6 months. Lily made a sound like she was bored. My mother looked annoyed that this conversation could not go back to Lily's perfect life, and that was the moment I realized something. They were never going to understand. They were never going to care, but they were going to pay. The thing about being the forgotten child, the invisible one, is that you see everything. You hear everything, and people always underestimate you. So I let them talk. I let them throw little comments. I let them dismiss me, because I knew something they did not. Thanksgiving dinner was not the end. It was the beginning. My father's business was not as stable as he bragged. My mother's friendships were not as perfect as she pretended. And Lily, sweet, spoiled Lily, had a secret she was terrified would come out. I knew all of it, and I had kept those secrets locked away, thinking maybe someday my family would change. But that night, sitting at that long, polished table with the pretty candles and fake smiles, I opened the vault inside my mind, and I knew I was done protecting people who never protected me. Mom started pouring wine. Anyway, she said, waving a dismissive hand, your little story aside, the important thing is Lily's big news. I stared at my sister, who sat up straighter, glowing like she expected applause. I am pregnant, she announced proudly. My mother squealed. My father clapped. They rushed to hug her. No one looked at me. No one cared that I had married and divorced alone. No one cared that I had been cheated on. No one cared that I collapsed at work and could have died. No one cared that I existed. I sat there looking at them like they were strangers in someone else's house. And then Lily said something that lit the fuse of my revenge. We are not telling anyone until the big reveal, she said. And Anna, I mean this in the nicest way, but do not mess this up like you always do. The table laughed. My mother nodded. Yes, Anna, for once do not ruin anything. That was the moment I realized that everything they had ever accused me of, being dramatic, being lonely, being jealous, being a failure, none of it mattered, because they had just given me the motivation I needed, not to hurt them, but to free myself. I stood up slowly, calmly, too calmly. Congratulations, I said to Lily with a soft smile. I truly mean that. She smirked like she'd won something. And I added, I hope the father is excited too. Her face froze. My mother looked confused. What do you mean? Of course he is. I turned to Lily. Did you ever tell them? Lily's hands shook around her fork. Tell them what? I leaned forward, lowering my voice just enough. That the baby might not be Mark's. The room went dead. My father stopped breathing. My mother's gasp echoed across the table. Lily's face drained of color, her lips trembling. How do you know that? She whispered. I smiled. You would be surprised what people confess, when they think the invisible sister cannot hear. Her eyes filled with terror. I straightened up, adjusting my coat. Do not worry. I have not told anyone. Not yet. My mother shot up from her chair. Anna, what is going on? I looked at her calmly. Nothing. I am just reminding you that maybe I am not the weak one at this table. My father stepped forward. Are you threatening your sister? I met his glare without blinking. No, I am simply telling you that I am not your punching bag anymore. I grabbed my purse, and as I walked to the door, I said the last sentence that changed everything. I may not have had a wedding you cared about, but I am going to have a future you will never control again. I walked out. No tears, no shaking, just silence, and the cold, clean burn of a woman finally waking up. They thought that night was the end of my story. But it was only the beginning. And trust me, they had no idea how far I was willing to go. I woke up the next morning feeling like someone had dropped a boulder on my chest. The house was too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your bones ache. Last night's chaos kept replaying in my head. Mom's fake tears, Emily's smirk, Dad's disappointment, and that awful silence when I said the truth about my secret wedding. I thought the worst was over. I was so stupid, because the real storm had not even started yet. I walked downstairs and found Mom sitting at the dining table, scrolling on her phone. She did not even look up when she said, "You embarrassed this family, you know?" Her voice was cold. Not angry, worse, controlled. I stood there, gripping the railing, and asked, "Embarrassed?" For telling the truth? She scoffed. For telling a story, a lie, whatever that was supposed to be. I felt my throat tighten. Why would I lie about something like marriage? And then she looked at me. Really looked at me. Like she was staring straight through my skin. Because you always want attention, she said. Ever since you were a child. Drama, drama, drama. Her words sliced into me. I wanted to yell. I wanted to defend myself. But something inside me froze. Because I realized in that moment, there was nothing I could say that would change her mind. Nothing. So I walked out. I did not slam the door. I did not cry. I just walked. I needed air. I needed space. I needed someone who did not treat me like I was a burden. So naturally, I called Lucas. He picked up immediately. Where are you? He asked. Driving, I said. I do not know where. I just needed to leave. His voice softened. Come over, please. When I arrived at his apartment, he pulled me into a hug so tight it felt like my ribs cracked. And for a moment, just one moment, I believed everything would be okay. We sat on the couch and I told him everything. Every ugly detail from last night. He listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't judge. Just held my hand. Then he said something that should have comforted me. Something a normal person would have found sweet. From now on, he whispered, you do not need them. You have me, but something in how he said it. Something in the way his eyes lingered. Sent a shiver down my spine. I ignored it. I should not have. Later that evening, when he stepped outside to take a call, his phone lit up on the table. And for a moment, just 1 second, curiosity tugged at me. The screen flashed a name I recognized immediately. Emily. My sister. My stomach churned. Why would she message him? They barely knew each other. I should have waited. I should have trusted him. But trust was not something I was good at anymore, so I checked the notification. It said, we need to talk. She cannot find out. My entire body went cold. When Lucas walked back in, smiling like nothing in the world was wrong, I just stared at him. He noticed. Hey, what is wrong? I asked quietly. Why is my sister texting you? His face changed instantly, like someone had ripped his mask off. It is not what you think, he said. Then what is it? I asked. Why would she say I cannot find out? He swallowed hard, rubbed his forehead, kept pacing. I could see the panic rising in him. And then, finally, he said it. Your sister and I, we talked. Before you and I started dating. My heart dropped to the floor. How long? I whispered. He hesitated. That was enough of an answer. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door. He tried to stop me. I loved you, he said. I still do. That was before us. It meant nothing. But my blood was boiling. You should have told me. I was afraid you would walk away. And you thought hiding it would make me stay? He reached for my hand. I pulled away. I left. I drove home with my chest so tight I thought I might pass out. The streetlights turned into long, blurry streaks. My thoughts were loud, angry, broken. My family, my husband, my sister, all of them had secrets. And I was the only one being punished for telling the truth. I sat in the driveway for 20 minutes, trying to breathe. Trying to calm down, trying to stop shaking. But when I walked into the house, everything collapsed even more. Mom, Dad, and Emily were waiting in the living room like they were holding a family meeting. And I was the topic. Mom folded her arms. We talked to Lucas. My heart sank again. You what? He told us everything, Emily said with the fakest innocent voice I had ever heard. She was enjoying this. Dad leaned forward. Your behavior is out of control. You lied about being married. You stormed out last night. You accused your sister of whatever this nonsense is. Nonsense. That word flipped a switch inside me. You all think I am the problem? I asked slowly. Silence. You think I am dramatic? A liar? A burden? More silence. Emily smirked. Mom looked away. Dad sighed. And that was all the answer I needed. I walked straight to my room, grabbed my suitcase, shoved my clothes inside, and walked out the front door with them yelling behind me. I did not look back. Not once. I stayed with an old friend, Mia, the only person who had never left me, never judged me, never treated me like I was less. For a few days, I tried to rebuild myself, tried to eat, tried to sleep, tried to convince myself I was safe. But on the third night, everything changed. I woke up to my phone buzzing nonstop, 20 messages, different numbers, different platforms, all saying the same thing. Is this you? Why would you post this? Are you okay? My hands trembled as I opened the first link. It was a video of me crying from last night. Lucas had recorded it without me knowing, but it was worse. He had edited the video to make it look like I was unstable, delusional, violent, saying things I never said. He posted it online, and people were sharing it, laughing, mocking me, calling me dramatic, calling me crazy. My ears started ringing. My breath caught in my chest. My vision blurred. I dropped the phone. Mia rushed in when she heard me sobbing on the floor. What happened? What did they do? I could barely speak. It is online. He posted everything. Mia picked up the phone, saw the video, and her face darkened with rage. We are taking this down, she said. We are exposing him. Your family. All of them. I shook my head. No, they do not get to win like this. Because that moment, that exact moment, something inside me snapped. Not in a bad way, in a powerful way. I was done being the quiet one, the forgiving one, the soft one. If they wanted a villain so badly, fine, I would show them one. For 3 days straight, I researched everything, every law, every loophole, every hidden truth. First, I found out something interesting. Lucas had a history, a messy one, a restraining order filed years ago by an ex for psychological manipulation and digital harassment. It had been sealed from public view, but not sealed from the right kind of digging. Second, I found out Emily had been bragging about dating a mysterious, older guy months before I met Lucas. She never mentioned his name, but the timeline matched perfectly. Third, I found out something that made my blood run cold. My family knew about it. They all did. The night Emily stopped talking to me for 3 months, the night Mom said, I needed therapy, and Dad said, I needed to stop chasing fantasy men. They were talking about Lucas. They knew. They knew everything. They hid it from me, and they let me fall for him anyway. It was deliberate, calculated, cruel. When Mia saw me staring at the wall, fists clenched, she whispered, What are you going to do? I answered honestly. I am going to burn everything they built. And I meant every syllable. It took one phone call to Lucas's ex. 1 hour-long conversation. One honest story of what he did to me. One shared understanding of what kind of man he truly was. She agreed instantly. We filed a joint case. Harassment, emotional abuse, unauthorized recording, defamation, digital stalking. And then I sent a single text message to my family group chat. Do not contact me again. You will hear from my lawyer. Their reaction was instant. Mom called 20 times. Dad left voicemails. Emily wrote a paragraph calling me insane. I ignored all of it, because for once in my life, I was done being their emotional punching bag. When the police showed up at Lucas's door that night, he tried to call me. Mia stared at the phone buzzing. He is panicking, she said. Good, I replied. He sent text after text. Please, I am sorry. Do not do this. I love you. I did not mean it. Your sister forced me. That last message, that was the nail in his coffin, because he exposed the truth without even realizing it. He admitted there was more, and everything that was hidden was about to drag itself into the light. The next morning, I opened my phone to a message request. From a stranger, a woman. She wrote, I know your sister, and I know what she did to you. Please call me. That is where my story turns again. That is where the truth gets even darker. And that is where part 3 begins. Before you go, make sure you subscribe and follow the story, because the next part will make you question everything about family, trust, and betrayal.